Hello and welcome everyone. This video is about very simple trick to create to show the bin labels in uh, the center of the bin, or if required in the on the left edge or on the right edge of the bin. So some people ask on the internet and they find it very difficult to do it. So I have found a very simple trick. So let's go through that. For that, I will first go to the our screen. So I'll share my screen here. So I hope you can see here. I have used a dataset sample. So if you would like to see it, so you can see these are the diameters and this is the characteristic name. So we are interested at the moment in the diameter and we will create a histogram for this variable. This is a continuous variable. So let's see how we can do that. So before that, if you would like to understand what is the structure of the data set, then just go through this structure command and then let's see what it shows. So you can see in the console area that diameter is the number and the test name is the character. Okay, and then now we load the library, that is the ggplot2, and let's define the number of bins. So for example, we would like to keep number of bins is equal to 10. You can keep it variable, and depending on where you use the R charts, for example in Power BI, you can keep it totally variable or totally dynamic. And then this is a very basic script to create a histogram. So first I will run the script. So you can see in the right side there is a histogram is being made, and this is for the diameter, you can see, and then in the left where y-axis you can see the counts. So by default, if you see, I've used only uh, basic data, and then in the aesthetic I have used the diameter, and beans is equal to number of beans and color is equal to green. So I have not defined where the x-axis label should go. Now to see to control that point, we will use the ggplot build function. So if you go over the tidyverse website or on the Google it, what it is, so it is basically what it does, it takes the plot object and performs all steps necessary to produce an object that can be rendered. In simple words, what it will do, if we use our chart in with this ggplot build command, we will get all the underneath details of that chart. So to get that, let's put the chart script in a variable that is the p1. Okay, so let's execute this, and now you see P1 has stored the chart script. So in fact, what we have done, we have stored all the details or all the things related to create this chart in P1. Now we will use the ggplot build function. So to use that ggplot build, we have to give the chart detail, that is the P1, and we want to capture the data. So basically, if uh, to show you in more detail, if I just execute ggplot build P1 dollar dot data and subsetting to 1, and if I run, you can see it creates all these details. To simply let you understand what it is basically the count statistics of this chart. And then if you see x here, x is the middle of the bin, minimum is the left edge, maximum is the right edge, density and counts, and it has shown several characteristics of the chart which we have created. We have not used few things in the chart, so that is why it is showing NA or it is showing false. whenever we do otherwise, I mean we use it, I think these numbers will change. So what we are going to do with this, we want to get the middle of the bins this chart is creating. As of now, we don't have access to, and we don't want to calculate it. So what we will do, we'll see again this. So we can see the third column is the X. So that is first column is the Y, second is the count, and third column is the X, which is the middle. So we want to get the third access to third column. So we have to subset it. That is why I have used bracket 3. Okay. So if I just run this one, I get only the third column. Okay. So what is the third column? Let's see here. So third column is the those middle values, and that is the X. And we are now storing in the bin details variable. Okay, so let's run it again. And if you run the bin details, you get all those things of the center of the bin. Now, if I would like to see the what is the structure of the bin details, so it's a data frame, and in which the X is the variable in which all these center of the bin values are stored. I can also check directly the X structure of the column X, and that is same as we saw just now. That is the number variable. Okay. Now we move to how we can use these numbers to show the middle of the bin. So what we will do, we are going to use the scale command, because we have to tell the scale that these are the middle values. So scale x continuous, because x-axis is the diameter and that is a continuous variable. And in the scale x continuous, we will use breaks is equal to bin details and dollar sign x. So we are accessing to that x column, and let's store in that. Okay. So now scales are also stored. So we know that P1 is our chart and scales are stored here. So let's execute both commands together. Okay. So now you see the chart is here. Okay. So you can see the how many bins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 bins are there, and 10 values are there underneath. So it has and it is in the center of the bin. So that was our purpose. Okay. Okay. So if for example we go and we change to number of bins to say 5, 5, and run it again, number of bins are now 5, and then we have to run the chart also and store it in P1. So that is also done. And since it is done, we have to also run this one. So bin details are also altered. Now we will store it again in scale X and now run in the final command. Okay, so now let's see 5 bins and 5 axis values and all in the center. For example, we didn't want in the center, but we would like to get it in the left edge, for example. Then we remember that left edge was the fourth column next to the center value. So that was the fourth column. Let's run it again. Bin details, just bin details are altered. And now we will run the scale. That is also changed now. And we run the final chart. Okay, so now see. The every bin has the values but in the left edge. So it is a very fine control, very simple control this technique gives. So we are not calculating anything of the bin size, we are just giving the input of bins. You could have also used instead the bin width. The remaining procedure would have remained the same, because the chart, whatever bins it would create, it will store its values and we will access that through the ggplot build command. I hope this video is useful for you and it simplifies the process of getting the more control on accesses labels for a histogram. Thank you so much for watching it, and please let me know if there are other good ways to do that. Please share in the comments. Thank you so much.